Alright guys, welcome to the show. Today is the 9th of July 2021. Hope everybody is doing good. It looks like it's gonna be a scorcher day here in Yellowknife. Already 25 degrees Celsius, according to my thermometer on my computer. Okay, with that said, let's get into the first story of the day. This one from newswars.com. So it says here just 25 under 18s died from COVID in England. Hundreds died from suicide and trauma. And remember, guys, if you want a number, if you are feeling suicidal, check out my show yesterday, and I could also post the numbers in the description box of the video. Okay, very sad, especially when it's kids. Um, it's just sick. Okay, this is from Paul Joseph Watson, so he's a pretty good journalist. I like Paul Joseph Watson. Makes some really cool videos. So he says new figures released by researchers in the UK show that just 25 under 18s died from COVID from March 2020 to February 2021. Just 25, guys. And it says here 2/3 of whom had chronic health conditions, and that lockdown measures aimed at children may prove a greater risk than that of SARS-CoV-2 itself. The numbers show that there is around a 1 in 500,000 chance of children dying from coronavirus in England. And that includes victims of pre-existing medical conditions like heart disease and cancer. Okay, this is what happens, guys. Like, a lot of these kids that die of the China virus have pre-existing conditions. Yes, it's sad, but you look at how many people die in car accidents, freak accidents, like the goalie Matis Kavelniks from the Columbus Blue Jackets. You know, people die. It's just a fact of life. But yet the media like spills and just gushes all over it. Oh my god, the death, you know. Meanwhile, you've got suicides just skyrocketing everywhere because of these draconian measures. Okay, let's read on. More than 75% of children who died had chronic conditions, while 2/3 had more than one underlying condition, and 60% had life-threatening conditions, reports the Daily Mail. During the same time period, 124 children died from suicide, and 268 died from trauma. So sad. Studies conducted by researchers at University College in London, the University of York, and the University of Liverpool found that lockdown measures which remove children from social environments may prove a greater risk than that of SARS-CoV-2 itself. The numbers should inform the government when it comes to considerations of the pros and cons of vaccinating children, although don't expect the story to receive much wider media attention. Earlier this year, experts in the UK warned that isolation and depression caused by lockdowns had created a mental health pandemic. Yes. According to mental health experts in Australia, COVID-19 lockdowns were found to have been a major contributing factor in a doubling in the number of youth suicides. Wow, very crazy news. Okay, on to the next story here. This is from newswars.com. It says British rock star refuses to be part of government experiment festival. The festival was informed over 10 days ago that I wouldn't be playing once it had become part of a government testing program. British rock star Richard Ashcroft immediately cancelled a scheduled appearance at a music festival after organizers decided to make the event part of the government's events research program, meaning only those who have been double jabbed or tested negative for COVID can attend and must submit to further government tracking after the event. Wow. Ashcroft withdrew from the Tramlines Festival in Sheffield, England, noting that he refuses to be a part of any government experiment or events that impose restrictions. Apologies to my fans for any disappointment, but the festival was informed over 10 days ago that I wouldn't be playing once it had become part of a government testing program, Ashcroft wrote in social media posts. I had informed my agent months ago I wouldn't be playing concerts with restrictions. The status of the festival was one thing when I signed up for it, but sadly was forced to become something else, the singer added. Ashcroft further explained, it must be an age thing, but the words government, experiment, and festival. He also tagged on hashtags they don't own me and natural rebel. Ashcroft is one of a few holdouts in British music who can voice his opinion on the state of the industry post pandemic because he rose to fame in the 1990s and has already cemented his career and fan base. While he was applauded by many, predictably, Ashcroft was also criticized by conformists on social media. Um, so he tweeted certain government restrictions. He immediately advised the organizers that he would not appear under those circumstances. But apologies to all of his fans for the confusion, but that was not of his making. Uh, And then this guy said, S.M. Sullivan said, "Oh, I'll probably stick to the international public health expertise, but thanks for trying, Richard. The drugs don't work about chemotherapy from what I believe. So how about wearing a mask to protect those having chemo now?" Doesn't Manchester says, "Good, he's a relic from the past, churning out nostalgia. Hopefully he'll retire." Back says, "Why are you being weird? Uh, a solid decision, a great statement. Comrade, rest, peace, and love. XIB. Stay firm, Ricardo X." Okay, not too sure what that is, but anyways. After previously making his friends clear, Brown was attacked on social media by dopamine-starved trendies desperate to get back to their beloved festival and take 4 million pictures of themselves rolling in mud, with calls to ban the singer from performing or for him to be pelted with vaccines. Wow. The legendary Eric Clapton and Van Morrison have also been relentlessly attacked for speaking up against lockdowns and socially enforced vaccinations. Another British rock star to have taken a stance is former Oasis icon Noel Gallagher, who recently declared that the combination of woke culture and COVID lockdowns means young people will now have less freedom than previous generations for the first time in modern history. Yes. Okay, let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll read some more news. You're watching the Phil Mathers Show, and stay tuned. Okay, and welcome back to the show, guys. That song was called "Ode to Ullr," or ULLR. Not too sure how you pronounce that, by Gustav. Okay, and if you like that song, you can go to Epidemic Sounds and find that song. Okay. Let's read on to this story again from newswars.com. Rand Paul says he will introduce bill to scrap mask mandate farce. Good for him. I hope it works. I wish we had somebody. I guess here in Canada we have Mad Max, but the thing is, he's not in Parliament, so he can't do too much. But he's got a good fan base. Um, Hopefully one day he gets in. I really hope Mad Max becomes prime minister. Unfortunately, there's a big majority of zombie, libturd, um, so pro-mask, pro-vax, pro-draconian measures here in Canada. Love their chains. Just drool over JT's socks. It's sick. It's just crazy. Okay, let's read this article. So it says Senator Rand Paul declared Thursday that he intends to introduce legislation that would scrap mask mandates, specifically on planes, calling the practice a farce. That's exactly what it is, guys. Paul noted that he intends to seek a repeal of Joe Biden's Sleepy Joe executive order mandating masks on public transit. Paul tweeted that he will seek immediate repeal of the mask mandate on planes when Senate reconvenes next week, adding, "Let people travel in peace." Yes. Bang on. The Transportation Security Administration, or the TSA, has decided to continue its mask mandate at least into September with fines for those who fail to comply. Paul has consistently railed against the mask mandate, previously calling it a strategy of government fear mongering, security theater, and calling for Biden to burn his mask on live TV. That'd be an interesting sight to see. I don't think that's gonna happen though. Sleepy Joe is so sleepy and in a daze. 99.9% of the time, he doesn't even know where he is. He just likes to sip his ice cream, slurp his ice cream, and um, he just takes orders from up top and then falls down some stairs and whacks his head a couple more times and stumbles back up and yes, Joe, that's right. So sick. Anyways, okay, on to some more news. This one from Camilla. Camilla. The Duchess of Cornwall. She's probably one of the only royals that makes sense, according to this piece. She says she can't wait to get rid of face masks. Wow. I never expected a royal to say that, but that's pretty good. Duchess of Cornwall looking forward to Freedom Day. Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, reportedly can't wait to get rid of face masks as England nears Freedom Day of July 19th, when all legal mask mandates are lifted. The Duchess and her husband, Prince Charles, were visiting the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama when Camilla made the comment to an MA student. "I can't wait to get rid of these," said Camilla as she touched her face mask. The biggest question that remains when it comes to the lifting of mask mandates is whether shops, restaurants, cinemas, and public transport will simply continue to insist they be worn outside of any legal compulsion. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of too. A lot of places in Canada, so like on the bus here in Yellowknife, still want you to wear a mask. Good thing I have my own car. I remember when I used to ride the bus, it was quite an enjoyable experience, as I love buses. But now it's draconianly enforced. Uh, Hell, even the bus driver who's driving the bus for hours on end, he has to keep it, or he or she has to keep their mask on for the entirety of their shift. I can't imagine um, what that's doing to their brain and their bodies. It's sick, especially when you think of a bus driver. I mean, that's a job that requires a fair amount of concentration, which is controlled by the brain. And with a mask, your brain doesn't really get too much oxygen. Um, and then you're driving all kinds of people around the city. Um, I don't think that's very smart. Not very smart at all. Like I said, if I was in charge, I would abolish all these measures of lunacy. But that is my view, and I think a lot of people now share that view. Although there are still a big amount of morons that just love being chained. It's um very strange. They've been, like they say, scared into submission. Um, Love to just be dominated, I guess. Um, Very scary stuff. Okay, let's read on. Um, this will make the lifting of restrictions effectively meaningless if people are refused service for not wearing masks. The results of a new Ipsos Mori poll suggest that millions of Brits will continue to wear face diapers, whatever the government or service providers say. Wow. Wow. Oh boy. See, that's what I'm saying. People are so dumb. Just love their chains, love the mask, love the oxygen deprivation. They love it. It's so great. They've got their little card. Ooh, vaccinated. It's so sick. Oh god. I don't know. A whooping 40% want mask mandates to remain in place forever. You heard that right, guys. Forever. Wow. 40%, guys. That's not a small number. It's like half, just about half. Um Something that has been proposed by sage government advisors like Susan Mishi, um a lifetime member of the Communist Party. And this is what this shit is. It's communism. It's just like communist China. any other communist regime, just total government control on the whole of the populace, and then live in misery. And then they get people to basically love it and gush over it, and it's such a great thing when it's just literally just rotting the whole population. It's sick, very sick. As we highlighted below the support, there's a video there. I'll get the link for that in the show notes for the show if you want to go and see the video for yourself. It says, as we highlight below, support for lockdown restrictions remains high, despite the fact that the loudest voices pushing for them, both in government and media, being caught multiple times violating the same rules they demand to be imposed on everyone else. And not too long ago, there was a video, even in the G7, you had JT, Mr. Socks, basically cushy beside the Queen and other dignitaries or other pieces of shit, basically shoulder to shoulder, and then he comes back here. Oh, we got the COVID. Well, it looks really serious if they're shoulder to shoulder with each other. Okay. Let's stop for a music break. We're gonna listen to some music, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about an Idaho resort town that's not doing too good. So stick around for that. You're listening to the Phil.mathers show. Don't go away.
Down on the ground, crawling on the floor, looking for my heart. You ripped it out of my chest and threw it out. I'm still looking back, keep trying.
welcome back to the show, guys. That song was called Rise Up by Sven Carlson, featuring Red Revision. And if you like that song, you can head over to epidemicsounds.com. Okay, before the break, I was talking about this story about a Idaho resort town that's not doing too good. Um, Looks like the workers live in trailers and tents because they just can't afford any housing. Let's look into this story from Zero Hedge, available at newswars.com. So let's get into it. The virus pandemic forced millions of Americans to work remotely. That's your Zoom and Skype call. Um, in return, those with economic mobility could ditch the city life for rural areas, such as upscale mountain towns. A flood of people poured into small resort towns such as Ketchum, located in Blaine County, Idaho, has created a multi pronged issue, such as affordable living and labor shortages. Ketchum is a small community of 3,000 people nestled in the Rocky Mountains of central Idaho. The resort community is an outdoor enthusiast's dream with 4 seasons of fun. Hmm. But ever since the pandemic struck, city dwellers from around the country descended on the small town, able to work remotely, but created a surge in housing prices and a boom in economic activity. No one can deny economic booms are great, but logistically, Ketchum was in no shape or form to handle what came next. Wonder what came next. Wall Street Journal interviewed low-level workers in the town and found many of them could find jobs but could not afford homes or rentals. Hmm. Ethan McKee Backos worked 2 jobs in the mountain town and lived in his SUV in the nearby national park for 2 months because when home prices jumped in the area, so did rental rates. Oh man. If you live in Ketchum, there's no shortage of work. There's just a shortage of where you can live, said McKee Backos, who works at a local hospital and a bar. This is the first time I've experienced any homelessness. Oh, wow. As we noted before, read urban flight during pandemic. Okay, I'll go and I'll put a link to that article in the description. Um, Ketchum faces an affordable housing crisis as supply was gobbled up by out of towners trying to escape the pandemic and social economic woes of major West Coast cities. The rapid demand for homes quickly priced out low income workers, not just from owning a home, but also from renting one. Wow. Wall Street Journal notes that some workers live in trailers or tents in Sawtooth National Forest, which is 40 miles away. The waiting list for affordable housing units for sale or rent in the surrounding county is years long. Wow. Unreal. Ketchum Mayor Neil Bradshaw has addressed the housing crisis affecting the working poor. The small town's economic heartbeat because they are the ones that work at local shops. He's even considered erecting a temporarily tent city in the town. Oh man. Oh boy. Idaho is a beautiful place. People are willing to compromise low wages to live here. Well, now they don't have a place to live, said Bradshaw. Even though Blaine County did make the National Association of Realtors list of the top 10 vacation home counties, housing prices have still risen 20% in the past year to around $500,000. As for apartments, rent for a two-bedroom unit is up 47% over the same period to $2,525. Wow. Unreal. Wow. That is insane. Um, Home and rent prices shocks have terrible effects on locals who are being paid out of their own community. The median household income in the area is about $57,000. 2019 census numbers show. Even a city council member of Ketchum is having difficulty obtaining a permanent residence. Wow, a counselor, a city council member, guys. Wow, is having trouble with a house. A house. Wow. Michael David, a city councilor, told Wall Street Journal he had been priced out of buying a home and can no longer afford rent after a rapid surge in prices. Wow. Not good, not good at all. Many of the town's working poor gathered in May in the town square to address the housing affordability crisis and for officials to embrace a new 56-unit housing project in the downtown region. Krzysztof Gilarowski, uh, Gilarowski, front desk manager at the Limelight Hotel who planned the gathering said the resort town could begin to lose its working poor as they have nowhere to live. If you can't attract people to work and live here, if guests can't book a restaurant reservation because there's not enough staff for the restaurant to open every night, people won't see Ketchum as such an attractive destination either, Gilovsky said. Um, the mayor has proposed temporary housing measures, such as allowing RVs to park overnight in public areas or private land to address the housing crisis in the immediate term. I'm deeply concerned about the viability of our town. If we don't have the workforce to support our local businesses and entrepreneurs, he said. If working poor can't find affordable living, this upscale resort town may soon experience labor shortages. Homes in the mountains and small resort towns have been hot commodities during the pandemic, as city dwellers wanted clean air and space. However, there's one unintentional side effect of new money flooding these rural communities. That is, locals and the working poor are being priced out of home ownership and or uh, renting. I think they made a little mistake there. They forgot the R. No big deal though. Wall Street Journal said other resort towns across the West are facing similar problems. Wow. Incredible. Okay, this is another story from newswars.com. It says here, according to a poll, 40% of Brits want mask mandates in place forever. Unvaccinated permanently banned from foreign travel. What kind of nation have we become? My God. Oh, people are just absolutely insane. Jeez. And this is from Paul Joseph Watson. It says a new poll finds that 40% of Brits, this is kind of going back to what we covered earlier, um, want mask mandates to remain in place forever, while almost half think unvaccinated people should be permanently banned banned from foreign travel. Yes, really. Wow. Oh, this is so sick. Oh, jeez. Um. Okay, this is kind of like what I was saying earlier. New polling by Ipsos Mori for The Economist suggests that a high percentage of Brits believe a number of lockdown restrictions could stay in place permanently, including nighttime curfews, travel quarantine, and face masks. Oh my god. Well over 40% of Brits also believe that only those who have been vaccinated against COVID and are able to prove it should be allowed to travel abroad again permanently. Wow. Unreal. Wow. Wow. In other words, almost half the population never want to unmuzzle. And think of those who haven't taken a jab should remain under de facto lockdown forever. Oh boy. And then this is from that slime ball from the Communist Party, Susan Mitchie. Should be bitchy. Who, when asked how long social distancing and mask mandates should remain in place, replied, "Forever." Oh my god. More than 1/5 of Brits are also very nervous about lifting the existing lockdown restrictions, which is due to take place on July 19th. Um, the results of the poll once again underscore how behavioral psychologists have been so successful in terrifying the British public into absolute subservience. Wow. As we previously highlighted, scientists acting as government advisors acknowledged using totalitarian and unethical methods of instilling fear into the population as a means to scare them into complying with lockdown rules. The comments were made by members of the Scientific Pandemic Influenza Group on Behavior, SPIB, a subcommittee of the Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies, SAGE, the government's chief scientific advisory group. Scientists admitted exaggerating the risk of COVID to the public and using dystopian methods of mind control to make people more fearful than they should have been. This is so sick, guys. These freaks should be all tried during in front of a international um, court of law for crimes against humanity on a huge scale. This is so sick, so draconian. Um, it's so sick. Oh boy. As the poll results prove, this has resulted in large numbers of the population developing a form of PTSD, which has traumatized them out of thinking life can ever return to the pre-coronavirus normal. What kind of nation have we become? Asks Michael Curzon. Not too sure who that is. I'll just go and search. Is it like not exactly sure who that is? Um, I think it's a writer, but I'm not sure. Not too sure. Um, anyways, um, meanwhile, Britain's political part and and celebrity elite continue to frequently violate the very same rules they aggressively demand everyone else follow. Wow. Okay, let's listen to some music, and when we come back, some more disturbing news out of my home country that is being destroyed little by little. After the break, stay tuned. You're listening to the Phil Mathers Show. Don't go away.
I
And welcome back to the show, guys. That song was called World on Fire by Sightless in Shadow. And speaking of fire, Canada right now is being torched, more specifically, churches. Um, this all, of course, after they discovered the uh, what they call the mass grave, but it was like basically a cemetery beside these residential schools. Um, and this has triggered all kinds of arsons of churches, and it's disgusting. Um, and the creeps that do this should be sentenced to life imprisonment, in my opinion. This is so sick, so um, disgusting, so vile. Um, I don't know what kind of thing possesses um, somebody to do such a heinous thing. It doesn't achieve anything aside from division. Okay, so here is a article from Rebel News, which is a great Canadian news site. Love their reporting, um, especially David Menzies. I love his journalism. He's really good. Um, okay, let's get into this story. Uh, Former Polish Roman Catholic Church. Polish Roman Catholic Church burns to the ground northwest of Saskatoon. So sick. And we know that during World War II, the Polish were um, almost wiped out by the Nazis. Um, um, Not just during the invasion of Poland, which was a staged false flag, uh, the burning of the Reichstag, um, where they basically closed um, mentally uh, retarded um, Polish citizens into uniforms and blamed them for the burning of the Reichstag. And then that triggered the biggest um, conflict in human history, World War II, where millions were killed, murdered, um, lots of rapes, just absolutely sick, disgusting atrocities occurred. The Polish people had it very, very, very rough. Um, and now we see all these churches, and this latest one, it's just disgusting. Um, a Polish Roman Catholic church just torched to the ground. Um, it's unrecognizable. It looks like on the picture you just see um, it's a pile of just burned wreckage, and there's still kind of the steeple mainframe that's standing, but you see the picture beside it, just it's in flames, and it looked like such a beautiful building and just engulfed in flames. Just absolutely disgusting. I know just recently the St. Pat's Church in Yellowknife um was burned. Yes, so um I'll just talk about this incident very quick. This is from Northern News Services. This is the newspaper here in uh, the Northwest Territories, and I think also Nunavut, but I'm not sure. So I'll just quickly read about the one that happened in Yellowknife before we hop into um, the one in Saskatoon or near Saskatoon. Sorry. This was July 1st, so a couple days ago now. So it says emergency responders attended the Co-Cathedral of St. Patrick, which is the church I used to go to when I was young. I haven't been there in a long time, although I still believe in God. Um, just haven't been to a church in a while, but God still has a nice, fuzzy place in my heart. Um, I'm not like those crazed psychos from the left that um, are demon possessed. Okay, anyways, reading on to this article. The City of Yellowknife Fire Division, YKFD, um, I call it the Yellowknife Fire Department, um, RCMP, medics, and the Municipal Enforcement Division responded to a call for fire response at around 12:30 a.m. No flames were visible from the downtown church, though emergency responders made use of the fire hydrant at the corner of 52nd Avenue and 53rd Street across from Bruno's Pizza. Bystanders gathered in nearby corners to watch vested responders enter the church's side door on 53rd Street, with at least one responder at the front entrance on 52nd Avenue. One stained glass was broken on the side of the building. Disgusting. I actually really loved the stained glass in that church. Very nice um, artwork and work that was put into that. I bet it was a lot of hours of work to um, work on that window. And now you see it is smashed on the ground. Absolutely sick. Um, it says, though no one from the on-scene authorities were authorized to speak with media, bystanding residents shared suspicions of an arson attack on the church. Yes, this looks very much like arson, very suspicious. Um, Chris Wood lives in a nearby condo and heard the sirens arrive on scene. If it was on purpose, I think it's sad, Wood said, adding that a beef against the church is one thing, but the act endangers the surrounding houses and dozens of residents in the neighborhood. Yeah, they don't think that this could have very much spiraled out of control and engulfed like houses with people in them. There are houses next to this church. Um, so sick, absolutely sick. Um, in the wake of the recent discoveries of unmarked graves by former residential schools, at least 8 fires and more now since that this was, remember, on the 1st of July, um, have broken out in churches across the country. 5 in British Columbia, 2 in Alberta, and 1 about 65 kilometers northeast of Halifax in Nova Scotia. Wood, a member of the St. Patrick Church for over a decade, said the congregation expected if it was going to be anything, that it was going to be tonight or tomorrow, though he repeated his comments were merely speculative. Approached on scene, Father Marek Pisarek, um, and this sounds like a very, I believe that's a Polish name actually. Um, Um, I think that is a Polish name. It's a West Slavic name, Czech, Polish, Slovak, and it's the equivalent of Marcus, or Mark with a K. Um, declined to comment on the Canada Day emergency. A representative with the Office of the Fire Marshal arrived on scene at approximately 1:30 a.m. Thursday morning. This story will be updated. That's a story by Natalie Pressman. Um, yes, so very sick. Okay, and now back to the incident we were first talking about in Saskatchewan. This is something that happened 80 kilometers northwest of Saskatoon. It says here a former Polish Roman Catholic church was destroyed on July 8th in a daytime fire. They're not even doing it at night now. It's just during the day, burning churches. It's so sick. Um, According to the Star Phoenix, the local community tried to save the church after smoke was spotted. Around 12:15 p.m. Yesterday, but the old church was reduced to ash. A plaque at the site of the fire identified the former church as the Holy Trinity Roman Catholic Church for Olav and District. The church was in use from 1909 to 1985. CTV reports that the RCMP have not yet confirmed if the fire is suspicious. I think it is, but um, there's probably going to be a huge investigation in it. Given all that's going on, I mean, you gotta wonder, like, that this is another arson. And also, Rebel News is offering a $10,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest of the criminals who are burning down Canadian churches. So interesting there. Okay, let's move on to some other news here. Uh, this one from the Daily Mail. So it says, um, welcome to Zuckerville. Facebook is developing its own city near Silicon Valley, HQ complete with 1,700 apartments, a supermarket, hotel, and new offices. I'm just thinking, why? Why does Facebook need a city? Facebook and Signature Development Group are behind the proposed plans for the new Willow Park City. It will be built where a single-use industrial and warehouse complex currently stands on a 59-acre site adjacent to Facebook's headquarters in Menlo Park, California. Facebook already owns several of the existing buildings on the site. It will feature 1,729 apartments, including about 320 that will be affordable housing and up to 120 units designated for senior housing. And you can bet with Facebook that either that won't happen or it's just going to be like you pay big bucks and yeah, you can get into our place. The plans for the new city also feature a supermarket, pharmacy, cafes, and restaurants, and a 193-room hotel. There will be a town square, multiple parks, and a 2-acre elevated park similar to New York City's High Line. Facebook also plans to have 1.25 million square feet of new office, meeting, and conference room space for the social media company. City will be built between Bellhaven and East Palo Alto, which is a heavily populated Hispanic neighborhood. The housing units will not exclusively be for Facebook employees. A number of the non-affordable housing units, however, will likely be taken up by Facebook employees. So, yeah, not for everybody. And I'll post a link to that article in the description box if you want to go take a look at the pictures. Looks alright, but like I said, I think you're gonna have to be part of their club to get into this place. And it's in San Francisco, guys, so it's gonna get covered in shit. Something they didn't include in their little sketches here is the huge psycho-crazed psychopaths that are going to be shitting all over all these places, but they didn't include that in the pictures. It would have been a ultra realistic depiction of what this Facebook city would look like, but yeah, like I said, they didn't include that aspect into it. It would have made it more realistic, but yeah, you can read that if you want. Okay, we're gonna take a music break, and when we come back, we have some news about Mr. Naked MP William Amos. Don't go away. You're listening to the Phil Mathers Show. We'll be right back.
I let you in, but in one condition. No one here will I am not the vagrant kind. Baby, I just wanna take you home. So lose the grip and make it on your own. Lady, she's got a claustrophobic mind, and I am not that vagrant kind. Not that vagrant kind. Yeah!
Welcome back to the show, guys. That song was called Sooner Than You Know by Carvings. Okay, before the break, I was talking about this liberal MP, um, I call Mr. Naked, William Amos, um, who says he appeared naked on camera twice due to hyperactive multitasking. I'll see if I can find a definition of that. Seems really weird. Um, um, I don't know. It looks almost like something like ADHD, but I don't know. There's not too much information on hyperactive multitasking. I mean, I have ADHD and I don't like uh run around like naked during my like on my computer. That's just super weird. Let's read on to Mr. Naked's story. Liberal MP William Amos says he mistakenly appeared naked twice, not just once, twice. Twice, guys, during virtual House of Commons proceedings because of issues with hyperactive multitasking and a lack of focus, and not because of any mental health disorder. Um, I put everyone in such an embarrassing situation, but I want to clarify that those two incidents were embarrassing. They do not define me. These were circumstances driven by personal gain. Not circumstances driven by personal gain, ill intent, unethical, or a morally reprehensible act, Amos said in French, according to clips posted by local media outlets in his Pontiac, Quebec riding. Amos, who was flanked by his wife, spoke to a small group of select regional and local media during a virtual press conference on Wednesday in his riding, which covers a large territory in Quebec, just northwest of Ottawa. National media were not invited to attend the virtual event or ask questions. It was the first time he spoke to reporters after going on leave because he was caught urinating into a cup on camera. Wow. During House of Commons proceedings on May 28th. This happened less than 2 months after a screenshot of him appearing completely naked on a similar feed during question period was widely circulated by media around the world. Wow, what a freak. Wow. During his press conference, Amos said he had consulted a team of medical professionals, including a family doctor, a psychologist, an occupational therapist, and a psychotherapist during the second incident. Um, Either he paid them with a little brown envelope to have a nice diagnosis, but I don't think he's sound in the mind. I mean, um, like I don't know what the mental age of this person is, but I'd have to guess maybe like 3 years old, 2 years old, maybe. Is his mental age? That's not normal human behavior. I mean, um, when I'm in my house and I have to go take a leak or a shit, I don't go in a cup. I go to what's called a bathroom. Um, 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 he obviously has something like mentally wrong with him. Yeah. He must have paid the psychologist some money or something because that's not normal. The first evaluations from my health team suggest that I don't have any mental health disorder, Amos said, according to a clip posted online by local radio station CHGA 97.3. Rather, he says they concluded that he insists too much on trying too many things at the same time, and that his propensity for hyperactive multitasking and a lack of focus are an important professional vulnerability. That makes zero sense. I think he's just a mental basket case. Because, like I said earlier, that is not normal um, human behavior. I mean, okay, it's one thing if you're in the woods or on the side of the road. Yeah, okay, put it on the side of the road, use a cup, whatever. But in your own home, um, it's just like, no, you go to the washroom and use the toilet. Like, ah, jeez. He obviously has mental issues or something. And he says, "Oh no, I don't have any mental issues." Well, that's I think a pretty good indication that you gotta have some screws loose or something, man. That's not normal. In order to prevent a third instance of accidental nudity while attending parliamentary proceedings, Amos says he's following a wellness plan recommended by his team of health professionals. Well, I'd like to know what that wellness plan is because that's some pretty disgusting behavior, um, especially from a politician. But nowadays, nothing really surprises me in the world of politics. It's a basket case kingdom. Um, he also promised to reduce his weekly workload from roughly 85 hours to 60 hours, focusing working on focusing on a single task at a time and being careful to avoid unacceptable carelessness and distraction, especially in virtual environments. According to Gatineau Hills media outlets, the lowdown Amos also said his family was very affected by the two incidents of nudity and ensuing media coverage. Well, yeah, no shit. Um, what the hell do you expect? Um, you were gonna get like a cookie or something? Jeez. It's one thing for me, an elected official, to be vaulted into a big national and international headlines for having forgotten to turn off my Zoom camera, he said. But it's a different story for a family to take on the intense burden of undesired attention that I caused. Yeah, and whose fault is that? Yours! Duh. Yep, pretty sick stuff. Um, wow. Okay, and just some another article about Canada. We'll just stay on the Canadian um spotlight. This is an article from RT. If we erase every part of our history that's deemed problematic by today's ethical standards, what will be left? Yes, and this is a article by Lauren Chen. Lauren Chen, I really like her. Not only is she really cute, um, but she makes a lot of sense. It says Lauren Chen is a political and social commentator. She began as a YouTuber and has since gained millions of views on the platform and hundreds of thousands of followers. She has also appeared on Fox News, Blaze TV, RT, OANN, Newsmax. OANN is the One America News Network, Newsmax, the Daily Wire, Rebel Media, Prager U, and the Rubin Report. Follow her on Twitter at the Lauren Chen. Okay, so she says, like many nations, Canada's wrestling with its less than tolerant past. But removing statues, renaming schools, and now even the National Archives canceling the country's first leader. Canadians are playing a dangerous game. Yes. That's a story that we covered yesterday. Um, Sir John A. Macdonald served as Canada's first Prime Minister from 1867 to 1873, and again from 1878 to 1891. He was born in Scotland, moved to Canada with his family as a child, and was a lawyer by trade. And while experts consistently rank MacDonald as one of the country's most effective leaders, like any historical figure, he was not without his controversies. In 1873, MacDonald resigned from office when it was discovered that his party had taken bribes from companies hoping to secure contracts to build the Canadian Pacific Railway. Though he would eventually be re-elected just 5 years later. More scandalously, however, especially from a modern lens, MacDonald was also involved in some of Canada's most racially discriminatory policies. Under his government, the Chinese head tax was passed, which charged Chinese people a fee to enter the country, with the aim of discouraging immigration. When it comes to Canada's Indigenous population, MacDonald's record is even more suspect. He reportedly called First Nations individuals savages in Parliament, was part of an effort to deprive Indigenous groups of food to force them to work and live on reserves, and also helped to establish Canada's residential schools. Under the residential school system, Indigenous children were forcibly removed from their homes and sent to boarding schools, largely run by Catholic Church. There, they would be banned from speaking their native languages and obliged to conform to colonial customs and culture. Approximately 150,000 children were placed in these schools, with thousands never returning home. Recently, hundreds of bodies have been found in unmarked graves at sites of former residential schools across Canada. One thing about that is, I think I might have talked about this before, but I'll just say it again just in case. Um, Back in those days, yes, there was mistreatment, but there was also um, diseases like um, tuberculosis. Um, I think there was also influenza. This was all published in a report um, by the Indigenous Missing uh, Commission, something with that name. I think back in 2015, I believe. And they basically said, yeah, that um, there was mistreatment. It was pretty horrible treatment that they went through. Um, and yes, there are some that said it was good, and but I don't know if that's really the majority though. But um, there were quite a few um, deaths, and I think that was really the majority caused by um, diseases. I think there was also malnutrition too, but the vast majority died due to tuberculosis. You got to remember back then, the healthcare system is not what it is today. Um, so, I mean, you got a bug, um, like uh, smallpox or influenza or something, uh, also combined by the fact that you were malnourished, and that was pretty much the end of you. Um, but yeah, there might have been other things, but I think in majority that was really the cause of the deaths in these schools. Um, okay, let's read on, and I'll try to find more about that later. We can kind of circle back to that. It's a quote. I think that's what's her name? Saki says that. Circle back to you. Um. Anyways, or in the military, we there was a captain that I had who said, "I'll put that in the parking lot, and we'll come back to it." I always like that saying. Okay. Let's keep reading. Cleansing the public square. Due to MacDonald's prominent role in Canada's formative years, many institutions throughout the nation bear his name, and statues of him are a common sight. But as activists have become increasingly skeptical, sorry, of Canada's past, many have begun to question why so many monuments pay tribute to an arguable racist. Within the past few years, MacDonald's grave has been vandalized. Statues of him have been defaced and even toppled. And at least one Ontario school board has removed his name from their school. Um, and now Canada's National Archive has taken an even bolder step to chip away at MacDonald's legacy by removing information on him that offends modern sensibilities. That's the same BS reason they gave that I read on my show yesterday. You can hear it on the show from yesterday. So it says here, those who ignore history. Um, Canada's past contains dark events, as any nation does. And although Canadians are right to want to end any remnants of state sanctioned violence or prejudice, this does not need to come at the expense of Canada's national identity or history. It may be clear now that policies prejudiced against specific racial groups are immoral, but it's also true that when judging historical figures by 21st century ethical standards, almost all will fall short. Sir John A. Macdonald was not a perfect man by any means, but his moral failings do not justify removing any and all references to Canada's first Prime Minister from the public square. Does this mean that his actions should be excused? No, but it is important to contextualize them. Racism, sexism, and all manner of bigotry were common in the 1800s, and sadly, in some areas of the world, remain that way to this day. If we begin erasing any part of Canada's history that can be considered problematic by today's standards, what will be left? Pretty well written article by Lauren Chen. Um, yeah, so we're gonna take a break for some music, and I'm gonna try to find some of the causes of death in some of these schools. And we'll be right back. You're listening to the Phil Mathers Show. Don't go away.
On fire and ready to go out there, gonna tear it down. There is no one wish I'd be running this world without you. With no one at all, one way to fall. Living this nightmare all through. What's new? I'm making without you. Without you. With no one at all, one way to fall. Living this nightmare all through. What's new? I'm making without you. I'm making without you.
Okay, welcome back to the show, guys. That song was called Running This World by Sven Carlson, featuring Red Revision. Okay, so during the break, I did some research. Um, this is from, sorry, about the residential schools and how these people died. Um, and this is from a report from the I think this is the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Yes, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, that looked into the residential school issue. And it says here, residential school students were subject to physical and sexual abuse by staff, were often malnourished or underfed, and lived in poor housing conditions that threatened their safety. Infectious diseases like tuberculosis and influenza often ran rampant among the students, leading to many deaths. So that's what I was saying, guys. It's pretty sad, but um, that was something not just here in Canada, but I'm sure around the world. Um, you got a disease like this highly infectious tuberculosis or influenza, and um, there just wasn't the medical treatments that we have today. Um, I mean, you get these conditions or diseases today, and you go to the hospital and you'll get treated for it. But um, back then, you got something like this, you were kaput, fubar. Uh, unless you were super strong bodied and could fight it off, but just being malnourished and underfed, just compounded with the disease, you were pretty much screwed. Um, but yeah, and combined with the physical and sexual abuse, probably did not help you out too much. But like I said, still not a reason to burn down churches, wreck Canada and its history. Um, I mean, you can remember the past and hope it never, ever, ever happens again, because it is very horrible what happened to these people. But um, it is not a reason to burn churches, destroy um, informational sources about historical leaders. This, like I said earlier, will just create hate and division, which is really, really, really bad. let's go look at today's um, weather for the day of July 9th, 2021. Okay, so looking at our map here, uh, in my home turf of Yellowknife, it is currently 22, feels like 23. Moving up to Colville Lake, it's 18 degrees, 17 in Inuvik. Sachs Harbor at 9. Resolute Bay 6. Cambridge Bay 11. Baker Lake 12. Arviat 14. Igloolik 13. Clyde River at 2 degrees. Pangertung at 8 degrees. Iqaluit 5 with some light rain. And Whitehorse at 16. Petersburg at 14. Prince Rupert 14. Fort Nelson 24. Prince George 22. Vancouver at 22. Edmonton at 30, feels like 33. Hot day in Edmonton. Calgary at 24, feels like 26. Regina 26, feels like 30. Winnipeg 27, feels like 30. Sudbury 23, feels like 22. Windsor 23, feels like 25. Quebec City 21, feels like 23. Corner Brook 14. St. John's 18. Charlottetown at 21, feels like 25. Halifax at 20. Montreal 21, cloudy. Toronto at 20 degrees, feels like 21. Overcast skies there. Windsor 23, feels like 25 with a few clouds. Moving to our friends in the USA. Boston, you're looking at 22. New York, the Big Apple, 29. Feels like 31. Mostly cloudy skies there. Swamp Creature Land, Washington. Even though Chicago has a lot of swamp creatures there too. Looking at 32, 35 with the Humidex. In Washington with partly cloudy skies. Virginia Beach 33, feels like 41, a scorcher there. Atlanta 22. With a thunderstorm. Ooh, some thunder in Atlanta, Georgia. Jacksonville, Florida at a nice 31. Feels like 37. A scorching hot day in Jacksonville. Miami, 32. Feels like 38. New Orleans, 26 with a few clouds. Memphis, Tennessee, 24 with light rain. Dallas, Texas, 29, feels like 32. Houston, I left my saddle in Houston. Okay, it is 26, feels like 27. Nice sunny skies in Houston. Wichita, Kansas, 31 with nice sunny skies. Not really helping the drought too much in that area. Hopefully they get rain soon. 34 in Denver. Kansas City at 29. Feels like 33. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 26. Minneapolis, Minnesota, 23. Billings, Montana, looking nice. A few clouds with sun, 27. Salt Lake City, 36. Another scorching hot day there. Partly cloudy skies. Not helping, like I said, the drought conditions down there. 28 in Boise, Idaho. Um, Portland, Oregon, looking at 21. Portland, a city filled with Antifa thugs. Not a very nice place. Um, Although it is a beautiful state, it's just filled with libtard Antifa uh, creeps. San Jose in the state of California, another cesspit. Looking at 28. Fresno, you're looking at 36. LA 29 feels like 30. Nice sunny skies there. Las Vegas, viva Las Vegas. It's 42. Pretty hot there. I think they were saying they're experiencing their most hot summer on record down there, I think, in Las Vegas. Flagstaff, Arizona, looking at 32, feels like 30. Phoenix, 39, feels like 41. Albuquerque, New Mexico, 32, feels like 31. Oh, a few clouds. Roswell, where the aliens live, you're looking at 30, feels like 31. And I think that's the roundup for the weather. Yeah. And now moving on to our friends in Europe and Nook, Greenland. It's 15 with a few clouds. In Reykjavik, Iceland, it's 15. We'll see cloudy skies there. In Norway, in Bergen, it's 16. 16 in Ålesund. 24 in Trondheim. Tromsø is 14. In Sweden, the great Sweden, it's 21 in Linköping. Gothenburg, it's 20. Kalmar at 18. Stockholm at 21 with some rain in Stockholm. Sundsvall at 20. Östersund at 22. Umeå at 23. Lorea at 20. Boden at 20. Kiruna at 19. Then looking into Finland now. 23 in Pori. Tampere 22. Helsinki at 22. Turku at 23. Kadani at 23, Ullu at 21, Rovaniemi at 22. Then Murmansk in Russia, 13. St. Petersburg, 24. Luga, 24. Moscow, 23. Minsk, 23. Sunny skies there. Kiev, 24. Lviv at 25. Odessa at 25. Gdansk, you got 19. Warsaw, thunderstorms there in Warsaw. Berlin, 17. Hamburg, 17 with some light rain. Groningen, the Netherlands, at 18. Amsterdam at 18. Cologne, Germany, 18. Heavy rain showers there. Frankfurt is 17. Munich, 16. Milan at 27, a few clouds. Turin, 25, a few clouds. Roma, land of spaghetti, is 25. Athens at 30. Istanbul, Turkey, 24. Ankara, Turkey, 20. And yeah, that is your weather. And just to end the show today, let's, before we get into our news, we'll just have a look at our Canadian dollar index, just to see. Let's see what the rate is today. The Canadian dollar is 80 US dollar, 80 cents US. So let's go see when that was last seen. Back in April, March of this year. It took a pretty big plunge back in March 2020, where it went down to about 70 cents. Looking back into 2019, it was 75 cents US, 70, yeah, around the 70 mark. Even going back previous, it's not really doing too good. Back in, yeah, going back 2017, it's around 70 cents. It doesn't really change year to year. Took a huge tumble in March and April of 2020, and kind of rebounding back up this year a bit. Was up back in May, 14th of May. It was 83 cents US, and now it's down to 80 cents US. It's alright, but it's not very good. Um, yeah, pretty much been 80 cents the whole day. So, will it go up? I don't know. The way we're printing money, just digging the national debt hole. Buying power is just gonna go plunging down at some point. Um, it's gonna crash eventually. When? I don't know. Um, so yeah. I don't know. Some people are saying, "Oh, it's gonna strengthen." Um, this is from Reuters. It says they think it's gonna strengthen over the coming year, bolstered by higher oil prices and reduced stimulus from the Bank of Canada. But gains could stop short of the currency's recent 6-year high, a Reuters poll showed. The loonie has pulled back 3.2% since last month, touching its strongest level since May 2015, near 120 per US dollar, or 83.33 US cents. Pressured by the Federal Reserve's surprise shift to more hawkish guidance and worries about the spreading Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus could slow a global economic recovery. Analysts say a buck 20 is a key technical level for the currency. It may be difficult to quickly regain ground for the Canadian dollar in the very near term, with the risk of a fourth wave of the pandemic spreading, said Hendrix Vachon, a senior economist at Desjardins. Um, Canada is a major exporter of commodities, including oil, so the loonie is particularly sensitive to the global economic outlook. Oil on Monday reached its highest level since October 2018 at 74.45 a barrel. While some analysts expect the Bank of Canada to cut the pace of bond purchases again at its next policy decision on July 14th. In April, the Bank of Canada became the first central bank in the group of seven to reduce its pandemic support. Tapering could support the loonie, but the Bank of Canada does not want the currency to reach a level that reduces the competitiveness of Canada's exports, said Ronald Simpson, managing director, global currency analysis at Action Economics. Under a buck 20, the Bank of Canada starts getting nervous. The median forecast of more than 40 strategists was for the Canadian dollar to strengthen 2.5% in 6 months to a buck 21 when it was expected to pull back to a buck 22 in 1 year compared to a 121 forecast in um oh sorry yeah, okay, 121 forecast in June's poll. A risk to the loonies outlook is a potential reassessment by markets of the order in which central banks begin lifting interest rates from record lows. Currently, money markets see the Bank of Canada moving ahead of the Fed with a hike by about the middle of next year. But Repai Rai, North America head of FX strategy at CIBC Capital Markets, expects the Bank of Canada to wait for the Fed to hike and then tighten at a slower pace than the U.S. central bank. If the BOC tightens faster than the Fed, then that puts untoward upward pressure on the loonie. We think the Bank of Canada is going to be keen to avoid that rate set. He expects the currency to weaken over the coming 12 months. Past rate hikes, so faster liftoff by the Bank of Canada may not be sustained, particularly if the loonie offshoots. Yeah. Um. So will it go up? I don't know. Um. This here says pound Canadian dollar rate hits 2-month high. Um. As oil crumbles and US dollar roars. Um, I don't know. Hopefully it goes up. It should be like at around 100%, like a dollar the dollar. But with the bank just printing money left and right, that goes down in value. And like I said, one day that's gonna come crashing down. Let's go look at some gas prices. Um, Gas prices are going up. Um, I'll just read some headlines here. This is from Halifax News. Gas prices up in Nova Scotia on Friday. Gas prices continue to rise. Gas prices soar another 10 cents in Greater Victoria. Another week, another record high for Newfoundland gas prices. It's insane. Um, BC gas prices will likely continue to rise through summer. Expert Halifax News, gas prices expected to go up again this week with more increases on the horizon. Rising gas prices could result in increased food prices, Agri-Foods Analytics Lab. This is a lot due to the carbon tax, the New World Order's pimp, I like to call it. basically charging you big bucks to drive your car. They want to have you driving those electric cars. I mean, if you want to have an electric car, fine. I do not want one. No way, hombre. I do not want. I do not want a electric car. I like my gas guzzling car. Thank you very much. I love the sound it makes. I love the smell of gas. Plug in something in. I have my big doubts about that. I think just look at the problems that the Montreal transit system is having with their new electric buses. There are videos of them just basically broken down on the side of the road. So it's not really good when you're on the bus trying to get to work and the buses don't work because they're dead on the side of the road. So yeah, not too good. And we're just gonna go to a music break, and more on that coming up. Don't go away. You're listening to the Phil Mathers Show on this beautiful 9th of July 2021. Don't go away.
Slowly into the silent night, an endless fall, like cuts from 1,000 knives. I hear you call, but I'm still stumbling in the dark, a silent howl as I dissolve into your arms. I waited now, seduced by a sweet mirage. We could live or we could stay, so did I stay wide awake? I can't do this anymore, it's hurting like it never has before. We could live or we could stay, so did I stay wide awake?
Quebec city bought. It's a hybrid bus, and it's not doing too good. This is an article from 2018, by the way, November 2018. Um, but it's a hybrid, which is a combination of gas and electricity. It's like a battery powered vehicle. But it's mostly always stuck in the garage instead of being out making money on the road. So this is by Le Soleil, which is a newspaper based in la belle province, Quebec. Um, so it says arriving in the month of January, I guess of 2018, the first of 64 minibus bought by the Réseau de Transport de la Capitale, or the Capital Transport Network, spend more time in the garage than on the road. A situation that's bringing up a lot of questions about the reliability and bad memories of the Ecolobus. I'll just do a quick search about that. Yeah, so a bus that wasn't really liked too much. Um, yeah, so another article from Le Soleil just quickly about this Ecolobus, and it wasn't liked by the populace too much of Quebec City. Um, they were electric buses. This is back from 2015. This is an article by Annie Morin from Le Soleil. She says they had the flavor of the day, but they became lemons. She says they did make the quality of life of residents in the old Quebec, better, but they were just plagued by mechanical issues. So she says the electric minibus made its last run Friday, I guess, when this article was written. And she says that morning, from this morning on, it's going to exclusively be the circuit is exclusively going to be served by the standard diesel buses, which are going to run, because diesel is available pretty much everywhere, and it has a pretty good cost compared to um, regular gas. Diesel is usually cheaper. I think it's because there's less steps in the production process. I think that's why. Um, so They were bought in 2007 for $400,000 each, and they entered into use in June of 2008. 2008 in Quebec was a big year because it was basically 400 years since Quebec was discovered. Yeah, Quebec City. So it was a big year for the city of Quebec. I even went to it. It was a great time. Good fun. They said this bus was almost perfect. The didn't make any noise, no odors. Um, just cost $3.25 in electricity to fill it up. But the mechanical problems, oh, they didn't wait too long to present themselves to the door. Um, just in the first winter, the batteries were basically discharging, and the rotors in the motor were getting used prematurely. Um, they say the cold and numerous hills were blamed for this. Um, the mayor, Labaume, the mayor of Quebec City, um, basically promised to expand the service. He doesn't really care too much. They built a new garage, or they promised to, but it never happened. Like a lot of promises, little sugar coated promises by um, politicians. It never happened. And it was never built, that garage. Um, and then they were basically scrapped because they didn't work. Um, so basically, um, less reliable than regular buses. These mini buses hit a wall in 2011 um, during two events that summer. Um, there were actually um, batteries that caught on fire. Wow. Um, not good at all. Um, and the radio stations basically just talked about it nonstop. Um, the transit company basically took them off the road to see what was causing these issues. And then they went to experts. They basically said, yeah, it's the batteries and the hills, because Quebec City has lots of hills. There's even a téléphérique. I'm not too sure I would say that. Kind of a cable, not a cable car, but similar concept to that. Um, that you can go up this hill. It's pretty cool, actually. Um, and they spent $200,000 to get better batteries. Um, they kind of solved it a little bit, but the media stays on the story of every little break in this on this bus. Um, and then the mayor basically says, "Okay, okay, we're not gonna get any more." Um, yeah. So I mean, all to say that um, it was not a good bus. Yeah, basically it's costing like it cost them, sorry, like 6 times more than a ordinary bus that runs on diesel fuel. So it was just a money pit. Um, so I mean, um, and it looks like I think in Canada they want to outlaw the gas car. Yeah, like this mini bus now um, is constantly on the road. Sorry, not on the road. It's in the garage. But like I said, this is a hybrid. Um, yeah, they say it's always in the garage. Um, so not looking too good. Um, a lot of complaints about the ramp for paralyzed people. Um, so yeah, not too good. Not too good at all. But yeah. Anyways, I think that's it for the show today. But first, we're just gonna talk about the new Sabaton single that's going to be out on July 16th. This is one of my favorite covers that they did. It's I think an original song from Manowar called Kingdom Come, and Sabaton made a cover of it a few years back, and everybody was saying like, "Oh, we need like um, a release of this song," like because it's just a video on YouTube, and it's like um, I think it was like a showcase for a game. I'm not too sure which game, um, but everybody was saying, "Oh, we need uh, uh, an actual like release of this song on like digital platforms and on vinyl because they like to release vinyls um, of this song Kingdom Come. Um, it's a great song. If you want to check it out, um, you can go on YouTube and I can put the link for the song in the description. I really love the song. It's great. A great song by Sabaton. Um, so if you want to check it out, I will post it to the description below. And with that, I think that's the show for today. And yeah, so hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day, night, wherever you are. And we'll talk later. Bye, guys.